Good morning all. Today we're going to learn a brand new tool. My favourite, and one that should allow you to fix a lot of photographs. However, you have to be very good, patient, and you have to practice a lot. Now, normally you just go File, open your photograph, pick it off your folder, and away you go. I just happen to have one of the photographs I'm working on at the moment on my screen here, you can see, so I'm going to use it to assist me today, just to show you how I'm going to use this tool. So what I'm going to do is, it's just here, I'm just going to open the file. This is very common on Adobe Photoshop 15 plus, 16, 17, and hopefully you've got a new version like myself. So I'll click on it. I'm just opened the file. That's what I've done. There's the photograph. It's an old one. It's black and white. And the very first step we did is we brought it from home. Someone's given it to me. I've just scanned it on a good scanner, saved the file, and put it in a folder. And here it is. This is what it looks like. Now there's a few versions that come to you. You'll notice here an extreme amount of damage. And all I'm going to do today is just show you some of the original steps that I took to use or to fix this photo. Now obviously it's a little girl. It's from probably the 1970s, and she's holding a koala. You can see half his face missing. That's not unusual. Damaged eye, missing an arm. And I'm just going to show you a good tool that you should practice with all the time. This would be almost one of the best tools that people will ask you to use to fix their photographs. Alright, so at the moment it's on Paintbrush, but we're not going to use that today. We're going to use what they call the clone tool. Here he is over here. I roll over him. It's called the clone tool. Now, there are two versions. There's this one here and the pattern stamp. Pick the clone tool stamp. So there he is. He's on. And like always, we turn on Windows. We'll make sure we've got layers on. We've got properties. We've got our tools on. How about a little bit of history? Turn that on. It's over here to the right for me. Remember, sometimes you can actually push that up into there. It should, so you can have your toolbar or one of the tabs hidden up in this area here. You can do the same with all of those. You can push them around or get rid of some of the ones you don't want. Alright, so there's history. If you make a mistake, you can go back. The best idea always is to probably save as you go along, because save a few versions, because if you destroy something you can always come back. Use your history tool. You can't really rub it off. You're going to stay on one layer, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy a layer for the moment. So just, how do you copy a layer? The easiest way is to just grab here, pull down to this one, and you got two copies. Reason being is maybe I make a mistake on the front copy. I can always just go back to the original. So we'll just leave it there. Now once you've got the clone tool, the idea of the clone tool, there are many versions of this. Remember, we're going up the top here. Here's the clone, here's the size. This is the options with the brushes. You can use different settings. Let's not do that. I'd ask you not probably use any other setting on the clone tool other than the ones I'm showing you. It's just a normal brush. The opacity here, what does that mean? That's if you're going to copy something, and this is really a copying tool, you're going to copy from one spot to another. So if you copy completely everything from here to there, that's 100%. But maybe you only want to copy 50% of this area to the new area. So you might copy the girl's hair, this bit of hair here. You don't want it to look exactly like that, so you might turn down the opacity. It's really how soft the brush is. And this one is really to set the flow. Now 100% flow is a bit like dipping your paint into a paint tin, and when you rub it on to the wall, you'll get 100% flow. Maybe you only want a 30% flow. It's just as hard, but you're just going to pick up only 30% of how hard you push. Again, it's not something I'd change too much. Again, you can roll across here and have a look at where they line up in the current layer. So what we're going to do is you're working on the current layer. What does that mean? It is possible to copy from one picture to another, or one layer to another. So if you've got two pictures, you can pull them up and look at them and copy from one layer to another. Okay, today, not to worry about this, you're just going to copy one part of an image to another part of an image. If they're very similar, so if the person's got two eyes, you can copy one eye to fix the other. There's a small problem on this one. Remember, the eyes are not exactly the same, they're inverted. Let's not worry about that. We'll just try a simple clone just so you can start. So there's the size of the clone I've got. You can change, remember, the size of your brush by right hand clicking. I might just make my clone brush a little bit bigger, back and forth, maybe that big. Hardness, I normally make it fairly soft, so that means the edges are soft. This is a soft edge, okay, and you can have hard edges. Let's probably not do that. And again, I might just pull this down, just making sure it copies exactly where I want. You shouldn't have to move that tool. So that's it. I'm going to copy this area to that area. So I'll just tick up here for a second. Now you can only copy by holding down the Alt, A-L-T button. So I'm going to copy, I'll just give an example, the top of the koala's head. So hold down the Alt button, left click on the mouse, let go of the Alt button, and whatever is here is going to be copied over here. You simply hold down the mouse button again and it will copy it. Now you can make mistakes very quickly doing this. You have to go back and forth with the Alt button. So you really don't want to copy that koala's head up here. Okay, so maybe pick an area that you think would look good here. Again, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to hold down my finger on the Alt button. I'm going to left hand click the mouse. I'm going to go across here and I'm going to try and just paint that area in. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm copying from one spot on the photograph to another. Then we go close to the hair, but that's not really this. These are twigs I'm copying over here. You really have to jump around a fair bit. That's fairly safe here to do. Now, to make it a little bit easier for me, I'm just going to click on here, blow the photograph up, because I'm now want to get close to her eye to see if I can fix it. I don't think there's any hair here, so I'm just going to click on the clone tool again, hold my finger on the Alt button, click in that spot there and see if I can just cover over that little bit of damage. Now I think my brush is too big. I'm going to go smaller just to try and get the right shadow and the right colour and the right area. I might just do her hair here, the same thing. I'm just hitting the Alt button back and forth, get the hair right, go above, copy that area back. Now after a while you'll get the idea that you're holding down the Alt button, you're left hand clicking on the mouse all the time. And if you get this little shadowing effect here, that's probably not good. You have to fix that up back and forth by careful manipulation. Now here is a classic example where I have the opacity set at 100% and it's ruining the photograph. So what you do is I might click this one, I'll turn it down to about 40%, so I'm only shadowing 40% of what's here to put over here. And if I do it right and just do it slowly, you'll end up with quite a nice and clean effect that it will look like it's supposed to be there. And how often you do this takes quite a while to get it right, and sometimes it's very frustrating. Alright, I'll just do a little bit more. So if someone brings you a photograph and you want to fix it, then you really have to think outside the box. Here's one for you. There's no good clicking here and copying this eye over here, because look what happens if I copy the eye. I'll rub it until you see the eye and see what happens. Okay, the eye's back the front. You're trying to get that section to look like this section. It's probably not the best idea. I'll just go back using my history tool, get rid of all that cloning and stamping I've done. This area on the face might be easy. You could just hold the Alt button down, click on the mouse, paint here a little bit. Now, if you figure this out, one of the nicest ideas, if you've got a bad case of acne or a scar, or somebody has a lot of pimples or something like that, you can use this tool to get rid of those little blemishes. However, you'll notice over time you do not want a perfect face. That might do us. Realistically, I should give you a few photographs to practice on, but I'm sure on the internet you can find one. Maybe I might give you this one. This is quite difficult, however, because the whole koala's face is missing. Maybe it's a tool or practice that you could do. This photograph is actually torn in half completely, and I've actually done some manipulation to put this corner back into the image. I'll show you my end result so you know that I did do it. Here, file, open the end result of here. If I pull up end result of this image, you'll notice here is one, here's the finished image here. You'll notice I fixed the koala, and again that's not perfect, however it's probably pretty good. If you could get to this level and show me, I'd be very pleased. Alright, that's a great tutorial lesson. Again, image, you probably only have to layer, flatten the image. You probably don't have to flatten it really. This is just a real clone exercise, and to try and fix a lot of photographs that people have damaged or ruined, and they love it. It's one of the best ones to get paid for. I'll just go File, Save As, save your original, save your one you fixed, hand them back to the person, and you're a winner. Alright, that'll do. Good tutorial.